What's up, everybody? Am I starting? I'm starting it? Okay. We're with Escape Media. We're doing Cutty Convos. This is Cutty Convos now, okay? So we're here with Tajin and Cam, the Hemis, big producers out the city, out the bay.
Sir.
I don't know, where could we even start? We were just talking about
a lot of things,
a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
things, man.
Yeah, we probably should have been recording that whole.
Yeah,
it was probably a whole podcast right there.
It's okay. We'll loop around.
We can loop back around.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I guess you already interviewed Tajin a little bit, I guess. So we'll start, like, if people don't know Tajin from the city, producer. How long you been producing for?
Been producing since 2017.
Okay. So that's okay. And Cam, you're from Berkeley.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been producing for?
I would say 20something around that same time. Yeah.
Did you guys meet each other around the same time, or
like after that,
or
right?
before? 2016, I feel like is when I met you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was like a big gap in between. Like, well, we met each other. We were playing in a band together at SF State Latin Orchestra over there.
Did you guys both go to SF State?
Yeah. During that time. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. And under John Calloway, and then,
John.
But I wasn't even producing yet at that time, and I don't know if you were. That was like 2016.
I think I was actually. So that might have been a little earlier.
Yeah. And then like later on, I went to Laney. I dipped out of SF State, and then I ended up, I was in Santa Cruz, and then it wasn't until like a year ago or so that we linked back up at this studio, actually, Mothership Studios, which is where we're located right now. So yeah, out of coincidence, pure coincidence. I mean, we've been tapping in on Instagram and shit, because I saw that you were starting to post more beats, and you might have seen that I was like posting some more.
For sure. I definitely tapped in with him. I was like, bro, we should collab and shit. And
okay, so let's get into that though. What started the whole like too easy thing?
It's
just like easy sessions, bro. Like, yeah, like I think it just kind of it wasn't even like really a planned thing. I was just like, well, me and Cam just work really well together, and like we share a lot of the same taste in music. We fucking have played in bands together, so we kind of already have that chemistry developed. You know,
it was pretty natural. I mean, I think also that because of the whole coincidence, we both started interning or apprenticing at this studio at the same time.
This
like
studio here.
Yeah.
Before it was down the hall that way.
Okay.
Yeah. And like literally like the first day of the like the first meeting that we had for this like internship, I pulled up. And like I just seen you in the room, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like, goddamn! Like I feel like we had just been talking on Instagram too. Yeah. Like, let's book a studio, or like let's do some shit in a studio. And then like a week later, we're like coincidentally in the same studio. And then it was just natural from there. Just like we're both trying to figure out like basically how to work the studio together.
Because it was a lot of it was just kind of like just got to dive in and just do it. You know what I mean? Like head first, and just like having sessions. Like I was pulling people in, and I was telling Cam, I was like, bro, like, can you help me with this? You know what I mean? We were helping each other.
Definitely.
So that was like, because
you were already like in the mix.
Bro, I low key jumped like the gun a little too fast. Like, I want to tell the story about like Pablo Skywalker when we had Pablo in here.
Oh my god!
I didn't know shit about shit.
I think I've heard one song. Isn't he part of TDE?
No, he's out of Detroit. Like I don't know. Is he
Pablo
part of
Skywalker?
TDE?
I know the name.
He's low-key been going viral.
He's been going
recently,
viral off some positive shit.
Off some like, good clips.
Yeah,
good positive. He's just he's a good dude. But me and Jay Stay True had a session with Pablo when he was out doing like a Bay Area. He was doing his rounds over here basically.
Oh, okay.
And we pulled up to like Concord, and like that shit was hella funny. Like we were just chilling with like him at the mall and like just walking around, and we were like part of his entourage and shit, and like it was just hella funny.
How many deep was it?
Like, it was like a cool like 7-8 heads probably. Oh my God. And like so we were just walking with Pablo
at
and like
Concord Mall,
but people were fucking with him. Like they were going up to him and being like, "Oh my, are you Pablo?" And he was like, "Yeah, like whatever." But he's just hella cool and shit. And then the next day I told him, I was like, "Hey, look, I'm interning at this studio. Like, we should do something. And then he was like, yeah, me fully knowing like I don't know how to work none of this shit, you know what I mean?
That was probably fresh out,
So,
because
yeah,
I remember
like,
you calling me too, I think.
yeah, I was
even
like,
that
bro, you
night,
know how to
like,
do this?
be like, yo, nothing's working.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked, bro.
Yeah.
So like when it came time to record, like I had set the whole shit up, and I'm like, damn, like there's no signal in the mic. Like I didn't know how to troubleshoot or anything, bro. And he was like, actually, bro, can we record in the room? And I was like, I don't even know how to record in the room, bro. Like, to be honest, like I couldn't tell you. And he was like,
Because we had
"It's
two
all
separate
good."
rooms in that studio.
Was this like your first studio session by yourself? kind of
Like,
thing?
I would say one of three. Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
and the
got
first
you.
three.
and you have like an actual like recording artist.
Yeah, like a-
Bruh,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
so I low-key dropped the ball, but it's all good because I knew how to like work under pressure. Now at that
Yeah.
point, like that, it did teach me a lot about how like preparation is like super key, and like also like being in tune with being like where am I at, you know what I mean, like where am I at, what am I capable of, and like working from there. Not necessarily, but it's good that I had the resources to be able to be like, hey bro, pull up to this studio that I'm interning at, which is pretty fire, you know what I mean. But we ended up not recording anything. I actually did end up recording something with his homie Butters. I think he goes by Toady Wub now. Also from Detroit and shit. And like this fool did everything. Like he was recording off of Pro Tools, he was filming, he was recording, he's a recording
He knew how to
artist.
work.
So
he knew how to work
jack
this
of all
spot.
trades,
All
right?
of that.
He
all
was
of
like,
that.
let me hop on.
So
here.
that he was part of Pablo's like team in that time, and like he was going crazy. So I'm still tapped in with Wub, aka Butters. I don't know if he would, however he wants to go now, but shout out to him.
But that night was
But that
you
night
had to
was
take
just
a couple of deep breaths.
I had it, bro. I was like freaking out, bro. I was like, man, I got Pablo in here. I don't know how to work none of this shit. Like it was ass, bro. Like it was fucked. But it's all good. Like we all learn. You know what I mean?
That's important lessons though.
Yeah,
Like,
sometimes you kind of got to put yourself in like an uncomfortable
True.
situation like that to learn some shit for real.
every time.
Facts,
Yeah, I mean, even now, like, I mean, that's just one of the things with engineering, and I didn't really realize that. Like going in, I was like, okay, yeah, you're gonna learn this shit. It's gonna be smooth once you know how to like get your whatever the fingers on the board and shit. But like the thing with anything with sound, whatever technical, like there's always gonna be something that goes wrong, and you got to learn to expect that. And like so many times I mean, even now, like it'll happen, like something will happen. You're like, oh, why isn't this working? I did the same exact thing that I've always done, but something's not working. So then it's all about like problem solving.
Yeah, literally 70% of like engineering recording is like problem solving. Like
100%.
just have to know like how to keep a level head and just like work through like, okay, I did this and this isn't working. Okay, so it must be this. Oh, okay, if it's not that, then it must be this. And just going through all that shit. And once you've exhausted all the potential possibilities, then that's when you call, you know, like I call Chris.
Shout out to the other engineers who work here, Dan
and Chris.
And we've spent hours on the phone with them for sure. Because you always hit a point where you're like, you don't think about one thing because you know there's a million issues or a million things that could have gone wrong in the process of what you're doing, because we're using lots of like the signal
analog hella shit.
Yeah, there's lots of issues that could go wrong, but that's definitely one thing that I've had to learn is just like power through adversity, take those deep breaths. Like might have to step out for a second too, but it's all trial and error, you know.
What are some analog instruments that are using?
I feel like the main one is the Juno 60 right there. That one's like a synth, but like as far as like analog equipment, like we run a lot of shit through like the 1073, which is
we have a lot of preamps. So the 1073
CL1B.
is a classic. We have APIs, preamps, and then we usually run it through we have a lot of just like boxes in here, but we run into a CL1B, which is a compressor. We have distressors. We got, I mean, and that's the thing is a lot of this equipment is like old too. And if you don't use, and if you don't use older equipment, older analog equipment, usually that's like when it starts to break down. So like there's always little issues with that. Sometimes you might have to deal with something, but it was really just about learning how to use those, and also just like patching in patch-based stuff, like and then working with older microphones. We have a lot of like tube mics and things that require like their own power sources and like
their own inputs and shit.
I mean, you know about inputs and stuff. Like,
right now
Learning.
Yeah, I mean, we're all learning too. So
I mean, you guys are doing like stuff that has 12, 14 knobs on them. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. Like when you troubleshoot something, like when you're troubleshooting, what do you rely on? You rely on just from previous, just experience, or is it something that you were taught in school, or is it something that you were taught during your internship that you learned how to do all this?
I was gonna say like just through mistakes, like you learn like, okay, I probably shouldn't do that again. You know what I mean? Or like then you start to it's like a process of elimination. Like, okay, I've had this problem before. Now I know how to work through this. If there's another problem, then this is like new territory that I haven't.
And it's usually about pivoting too. Like pivoting. For me, like if there's a problem that you might try 1,000 different ways. And I mean, we both like we didn't go to school for engineering or anything like that. Like pretty much everything I know, and probably Tajin knows, is from straight like YouTube or like being in here and trying to figure it out yourself, which I mean is a super blessed opportunity to like, because a lot of other internships, apprenticeships, like usually like, because I went around a little bit and like I had different opportunities to go a couple different places, and some studios, weren't fucking with me, some studios were, but like usually all those apprenticeships are based upon like for the first year and a half, like going and grabbing coffees or like just cleaning the toilets,
clean the bathroom,
and not actually getting any hands-on experience, which the manager of this spot, Paxton, like he put a lot of emphasis into like I'm just gonna throw you into the flames. Like some of you are not gonna make it out of here, and those are the ones I'm not gonna let like in anymore. So it's like, and if you like if you can figure it out on your own, then that means like you're good essentially. Like I'll support you, and like he does support us and shit. But like a lot of it is just trial and error and kind of like throwing darts at across a board and shit.
Did people get weeded out that way? Like people like just stop coming back, or?
I mean, there's a few, but I mean, life happens. It
happens, and also people get other opportunities in other ways. So I don't want to just say that it's like, oh man, they didn't make it here.
Definitely
you know
not
what
like
I mean?
that at
not
all.
like that at all. Like people, like everybody who started with us in the internship is doing some shit in their own right now, and like. And they're raw at it, you know what I mean? So
it's not for
like
everyone too. Like, like everyone might think they want to be an engineer or a recording engineer, or like even to get in the studio and like they want to be in. But like once you're in here, it's like Tajin has had experiences, and like I've had experiences where it's like, oh, this is pretty frustrating, and it's a lot to learn. So like if you don't have the time to do that, then it's gonna make your life a lot more difficult.
What would you guys say to like artists that never been in the studio? What would you tell them to respect for engineers? Because they probably, from my understanding, like I don't know anything about this. So someone coming in that doesn't know anything, what would you want them, like say like a checklist for them so they don't interfere with what you're doing, and so it runs more smoothly for everyone involved?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. That's a great question. And that's something that we've had to figure out through like the process of inviting people who have been here for the first time. For a lot of people that have been in here, like it is their first time in like a professional studio, you know what I mean? But I think more so like in terms of like etiquette, like it hasn't been anything too disruptive, you know what I mean? Like either asking us hella questions or inviting hella heads, like that hasn't happened too much, you know what I mean? It's more so like the business of like basically like funds, you know what I mean? Like pay us at the end of the session, you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't have to remind you for that shit, or like
people don't do
or before the session too.
Before the session, that's why we require deposits now and shit like that.
I mean, it's all trial and error. It's shit that we've had to figure out too, because like it was a newer experience for us as well. Yeah. But like there's you go down the list, like at first you're like, oh, I'm at the studio, like and somebody wants a session, like, oh, bring everyone, whatever, like it's all good, and then you get in here and then you start to realize like there's certain etiquette things you're like, oh, I don't know. Like, I mean, one of the rules that we have in here is like no backwoods anymore. Cause like,
and that's not even necessarily our rule.
No, but like low key, it became kind of like, I started realizing like,
it
when,
does stain
when our laptops start to smell like fucking woods, everything. Yeah.
The equipment start to smell like woods, like walls.
Just like respecting the equipment, respecting the engineer too.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're pretty fortunate to work with certain people who do respect us, but we've all heard stories of people, and we know people who like have been in situations where they've been pressed or like just being hella disrespectful or like, stuff that like any business you don't want to like conduct. You don't want to be around certain people, and like if it was in any type of business, pretty much.
Yeah, like no disrespectful. I should obviously
definitely.
Okay.
I mean, the one thing I can think of is like even just like touching the equipment or something like somebody might come in here and like see a knob or something. And this is what people told me at the beginning. They're like, "Oh, the volume not right there. Let's turn this shit up and like crank the speakers hella loud." And like bro, no. It's like, no, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't crank the speakers. Don't touch anything that you don't know what's gonna do. I mean, I've had like people come in here, flick a little switch on there, shuts off the whole computer.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
what the
they
fuck?
thought it was like something else or whatever. So
I just wouldn't even touch anything. I feel like,
bro, that's what I'm saying. Like,
y'all for the past like 10 minutes have been like speaking a completely different language when you guys are talking about equipment and shit. So I feel like I just be like over here in the corner and I'd be like, I don't want to touch shit.
Good.
I'm not gonna break shit. Yeah. You guys can't blame me for anything.
Nah, that's good, bro. I mean, unfortunately, not everybody has that kind of baseline knowledge of like, maybe I shouldn't be putting my hands like in shit that I have no idea about. You know what I mean? Like, for real. It's just how funny. Like, spatial awareness. Like, not everyone has that etiquette and shit.
I mean, back just like what you were asking is just like just like human decency, respecting our time,
bro,
respect like any business.
The time is a good one. Like we're pretty accommodating though. Like we're pretty fucking accommodating.
Do people come like 2-3 hours late sometimes?
We don't take the sessions if it's that late.
Yeah,
I mean it's happened though. It definitely has happened.
It's happened. Sure. I've learned to set boundaries. Like there was one time when this dude like hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be 40 minutes late." I'm like, "We have to reschedule. Like I'm not waiting that long for you."
I need to get like that. Whenever I have like a photo shoot, people be like, "Yeah, it's 2 hours later," and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. It's fine. Yeah, and I'm like, I waste my whole day waiting for you, bro.
For sure.
I was 15 minutes late. My barber fucking canceled on me. I was like,
15 minutes.
Yeah. My barber does too. Yeah,
I
was like,
I gotta respect it though.
I was like,
for real.
All right, man, it's all good.
Yeah, that's
I know, but I feel like just with any business and like any industry, it's like you'll learn those lessons. Like I'm sure you like what you were just saying. Like you might let shit slide at the beginning and then it might fuck you over. So it's like, we've let a lot of shit slide that has probably fucked us over. But then at the end of the day, it's like we definitely would want to blame the person, but then we also have to take some accountability in that because it's like, okay, we have to be a little bit more like strict with our boundaries as well.
Right.
So like, with timing, with payment and shit, this is all stuff that we've had to learn through like mistakes. Because the world is not perfect. People don't treat everyone perfectly all the time. 100%. So you would think somebody would just like,
hey, I got the money ready. Yeah.
Sometimes people be going through things. I'm not going to
right. And it's important to understand that, but also you got to communicate that as well.
Yeah, that's very real. I mean, that's the whole boundary. So you know what I mean? It's like how much can you actually take from someone being
but there's also people that just want free shit too, though.
Oh,
bro,
all the time. All the time.
They're like, you're the homie. Like, I thought you're the homie. Like,
how many times does that actually happen to you guys? Where someone's like, let me get a free sesh real quick.
That's probably the most common thing.
The most common thing.
I totally felt that.
And that's, I mean, part of the reason is like, I mean, we're nice people. We don't want to piss anyone off. Like we're accommodating bros. Like, and like people might try to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, they might be like, oh, this is a little bit more homie discount type of situation.
But it's like, people got to recognize that it's labor going on behind this. It's time spent working on this shit. Like, nah, bro, it's not simple as just, oh, you getting this, hey, just record me real quick, make it just a little beat for me, you know, like maybe just, give me a little mix or something.
They don't understand the time that goes into it. Like, how long does it take for you to go into? Sorry, my bad. You guys can keep going. I gotta step out real quick.
Yeah.
No worries. Like,
cut that.
Yeah, cut that.
Like for you guys, people don't understand like the time that goes into the process, right? So if someone asks for a free beat, they're not just asking for just free beat. They're asking
Yeah.
for however long it takes you to make that beat.
Yeah,
For
bro.
sure.
For
Yeah.
all the other opportunities that you have to push off because, or the other things you're working on
Literally.
because you're making that beat for them. So they're not just
Definitely.
asking for one thing; they're asking for 10 things.
Yeah.
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 People don't understand that.
Yeah.
When they're,
Nah.
when it asks, especially when you ask a creative person, like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you're in the space and you have time for it, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
when someone's busy, people don't realize what you're asking for.
Right.
No,
right.
that's hella
Yeah.
true. Like,
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think, yeah, because it's not like another type of job where, I mean, like in some ways, like you can, I mean, this is just for all creatives. This is for somebody, if you're commissioning work from them, if they're a painter, if they're whatever, because there's no like it's not as clear cut, like the labor, the time, all this stuff, all these parameters you can kind of measure. Oftentimes people assume that it's like, oh, they love to do this, so they're just doing it out the love,
Yeah.
or this is easy for them, where it's like, really, it's hella energy. And like
Yeah.
you said, you can break it down into like multiple different like ways to measure the labor too, the time spent, like the other opportunities you wasted, you know?
It's only easy now because you didn't see the years that it took to get to this point, right? So
Yeah.
easy might be easy, like from you seeing, but you didn't see like the hours
sure.
that you spent like late night and
Yeah.
having to work early in the morning,
Yeah.
and just to get something down as
Mm-hmm.
basic as learning, key functions, learning.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Volume adjustments, learning.
Yeah.
How high to set an amplifier and what
100%.
what voice works for
Yeah.
what,
That's
how everyone has a different type of voice when you're recording them, so you have to learn that as well, right? Someone with a soft
For sure,
EQ
yeah.
and whatnot, and
Yeah.
the other type of musical instruments you
Yeah.
have to deal with and stuff like that. So
Hell yeah.
that is value within itself, and
Definitely.
if people don't value you for that, then that
Mm-hmm.
means they don't value your work.
Right.
That's how I see it now.
Man.
That's
Yeah.
that's
the hard-
real.
that
That's
was the
real.
hardest thing to see,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all that.
Fully
It's like
agree with
it's
you.
basically the accumulation of everything that you've done, all the experience you've had, up until that point. That's what people don't see, and that's what people often take for granted too
Yeah.
when they're like trying to, pay when you were asking for payment. Like
Right. I don't know. I
whatever.
was gonna ask, like, I'm sure you have to deal with that too. Like, also as like when you make clothes and shit like that, whatever it may be, like people trying to get hooked up and all that.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
just
mean?
do I don't know if you do this, but I do this all the time now. It's all like, they'll be like, yo, let me get some for free. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, everyone pays. And then they're like, what are you talking about? Like, all your friends are wearing it. I'm like, and they all paid.
And
And
they
they
all
didn't
paid.
get a discount either.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
Like,
that-
people assume that I give
super
my
real.
friends stuff for free. And like,
Yeah.
sometimes if you buy like $100, $200 worth of stuff, I'll throw
Yeah.
in a free thing.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking,
No. Because
Yeah.
it lowers the value altogether too, and
Exactly.
It's
It's
like, and
like, what
also
the
it's a
hell?
respect thing too.
Yeah, like, come on
If
now.
you support your homie, you buy their stuff. If they're selling something, the best way to support them is to buy their stuff.
Right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's how it should be.
Man, I was
Yeah.
also gonna add too. It's like people will spend money with these multi-million-dollar corporations.
Yeah.
All
And then
the
they get a little
fucking
stingy
time.
with you.
Literally,
It's like,
bro.
what?
It's like, you won't support the homie. Like buy $20 for a
for
fucking
real.
t-shirt. Like, are you kidding me, bro? You
Definitely.
buy some designer shit. You buy all this shit, but you won't buy your own homie stuff.
I like look at it as a way as like, if you like keep shopping with someone, like they're only gonna get better at it. So like each time like someone comes to
For
you guys,
sure,
I'm
yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
and makes like a record, like
Yeah.
the
Hell
next
yeah.
like the next 5 times you make a record, that like 5th record is gonna be way better than the first record.
For sure.
y'all made
Yeah.
together. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah.
And the way
bro.
like I've liked to put it too is it's like okay, you're paying the homie, right? Like you might want a discount, but no, like because you're the homie, like I'm actually putting more into this, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
I'm doing as best as I can to make this product as good for you as possible because there's a relationship there. So it's like even more worth your money, like, so it's like there's more value in it in that way. And it's like, you could go like somewhere else and it might just be a completely impersonal transaction or whatever, and it's like, why would you want to go somewhere else where it's impersonal and you're
Yeah.
paying the same amount and you're just gonna get like a shittier product at the end of the day,
Yeah,
rather than coming
exactly.
to me because you know me and we have a relationship, a history together or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, sometimes people don't see it like that though.
You pay for what you get. If you go cheap, you're gonna get cheap shit. You
For
get-
sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
For
that's just the
surely,
bottom
bro.
line. It
Definitely.
doesn't mean if you pay the highest that you're gonna get the highest quality, because you still have to put out the product yourself too. So
That's
you
true,
still
yeah,
have to
of
see if
course.
you're good or not. If you're not that great, it doesn't matter where you go. So you have to, you know, you have to have some self-reflection too on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a issue with like an artist that has put out work and it hasn't been received as well, but they're like, hey, I think it might be because of
y'all. You think it's like that? Yeah,
Oh,
like it's the
no.
producer's fault.
No.
Not because of us, but because of them. Yeah, for
but
sure.
Is there ever like a time where the
blame
producer or blame gets spread around where it's like people don't ever like see themselves as the issue?
Man, all the fucking time.
I think subconsciously, like no one's ever really stepped to us like that or anything.
Nah.
But like you could definitely tell sometimes where it's like if somebody's like put something out and they might not have put actually that much effort into putting it out or what the craft or whatever. And it's like then it doesn't really get received well. They might translate that as like a chip on their shoulder type of thing where it's like, oh, everyone's not fucking with me because of this, where it's like,
oh my God.
I don't really know if that's the reason.
That whole attitude for me is just like, bruh, like get over yourself, bruh. Like, like literally like get over yourself, bruh. Like, it's not about that at all. You know what I mean? Like, let's face the facts here. Like, you know,
I feel
like
people expect that thing though too, where it's like they think that we talked about this a bunch of times now already, but like they kind of think that they can do like the whole like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, whatever, like a big artist, like they can just drop a song and it's gonna go crazy tomorrow. Like they think they're gonna get like 1,000 plays, 2,000 plays or whatever, by them being a lower artist. But like, bro, you have to market the shit out of yourself when no one knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You really have to flood the market.
Exactly.
And you also got to be creative and like
put
make
like
something
a skit
up.
or like
shit that people can engage with, because it's like a story post, a post whatever, like that's not necessarily like what brings people in. And like we're guilty of it too. Like we post shit all the fucking time and I'm like, damn, why isn't it being received well? But it's like you have to have the mentality of like, okay, how can I improve upon this? You know what I mean? I can't just keep doing the same thing and
expect it to work.
Well,
Exactly.
We're gonna take a break and then we'll come back, and I would like to discuss that too, because I know you have talked about posting and making an effort, but we had talked about the other day as Sweetie has over 2 million followers on Twitter, has like over 10 plus million on Instagram, and sold 2,000 copies the first week.
All right, we're gonna get into it.
We'll come back.
I got some questions for you.
I got some real. So they used to like be off like just hella pirates and shit, just like fucking people
and the
up.
coastline and shit.
North Africa, Egypt, Tunisia.
It's kind of weird to think that some of like the districts like even around the bay like still have those like crazy ass like terms or names. Like we were talking about like Jingletown. Like,
Jingletown.
Wait, where the fuck is Jingletown?
Oakland.
That's Oakland? Oh,
yeah.
Shit, bro.
What is Jingletown? I don't know any of this history.
I don't
so
know that
Jingletown, it's really fucked up. Preface, this is really fucked up. But okay, so apparently like back when Oakland and San Francisco were first getting like like colonized with people, the Portuguese were coming in to Oakland and they were going to Jingletown, and apparently the Portuguese were like very poor at the time and everyone like didn't like them because they were poor. So all of them lived in Jingletown and they called it Jingletown because they had a bunch of change in their pockets and they would get Yes,
I was hoping it wasn't gonna be that.
It is, it's how racist.
It's always like the most fucking simple-minded fucking whatever.
Yeah, it's super fucked. It's just crazy that it's still like that now. Like I was like, I think we were saying like
there's big murals that say Jingletown over there.
And I'm like explaining it. I'm like, damn, this is really fucked up.
I remember I had like when I used to work at this inpatient place or outpatient place. Yeah. And one of my clients, he was born and raised in the city, and he was living out like in the peninsula at the time, and he was so mad that they changed Cesar Chavez Street from Army Street.
Oh yeah,
from Army to Cesar Chavez.
He was so pissed off.
Yeah.
And he's like, he had this resentment from it, and I'm like, man, what the fuck is like wrong with like people like hold like these grudges.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. It's like Army is a better name. Like what?
But it's like when when the place change. I understand when things change for people and stuff like that. But then it's like the racial like stuff that goes behind it as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he was mad that it turned into
Oh,
like
yeah.
a Latino name or something.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
super mad. He was
So the interesting
Of course
how
it
like
was.
That's what he was mad
because there'll
about.
be other
What the fuck?
like other areas that might change or whatever, but in like a different way, more of a gentrification
Oh,
way, where it's like,
Yeah.
but it's like nobody's really there. They probably wouldn't be mad at that, really. Or I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know,
bruh.
This guy was like super
Names are hella weird. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
things
Nope.
change out here. It's insane. But to hear about like the Jingle Town and stuff
Yeah.
like that, it's like
Yeah, Dogtown
Things
in
need
West
to change.
Oakland too. There's like there's lots
Yeah.
of names: Ghost Town, Dogtown. Like
I love
and-
Ghost Town though.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever been to Ghost Town?
Yeah,
I
He was
lived
telling me about it.
yeah. Dogtown. Literally, there used to be dogs there. Like
bro,
that's why, like stray dogs running
I
around and
lived
shit.
in Cherryland in Hayward in that incorporated
Oh, for
area
sure.
for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Spoopy.
That was a cool spot.
Ghost.
You
Yeah.
say Scoopy?
Spoopy.
Oh.
Like spooky. I don't know. But Hayward always kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Bruh,
fucking
yeah,
love
something
Hayward.
about Hayward, bruh. I don't know.
Something about Hayward. I fuck with Stanley Andrew hella tough, low key.
For real?
Yeah. So
That's what's up. I got some
shout out
cousins
my
out
pops.
there.
That's where he's from.
Damn, okay,
I love
okay.
Hayward, though.
But
I
yeah.
love Hayward. Hayward was good.
I haven't been out to Hayward.
Hayward is
enough.
underrated, bro. Stanley Andrew and Hayward are both like underrated place to live in the East Bay. Like, and they're
Yeah.
they're like low key now one of the like only affordable places over there.
For
but
real.
like, yeah, they're underrated for sure.
Yeah, Hayward.
Stupid
That's
underrated.
where I went to college out in Cal State East Bay.
Oh, you
Oh,
went
you
to East?
did?
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
shit.
Yeah,
There it was
you and I am Sue.
it was good fucking.
Oh, he did go, huh?
It was a good spot. I like that place a lot. Hayward.
It's a good school. That's a dope school. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can't hate on Hayward, but yeah, there is something out in there. There, you know, it's a little bit
something there.
different.
What is like one like Bay Area town that doesn't get a lot of recognition that you fuck with a lot that you like besides Stanley Andrew?
I would say, I mean, Richmond is definitely a spot that is like has always been a little bit underlooked and underappreciated,
Yeah.
and a lot of people have come out of Richmond, and it's just it's a dope area. I fuck with Richmond, hella tough.
I was gonna say San Rafael is hella nice.
San Rafael,
I
yeah,
fucking love San Rafael.
San Rafael,
Downtown
yeah.
San Rafael, so
San
sick.
Yeah.
Rafael, yeah, bro.
yeah.
They have all the fucking best places to eat over there. It's like
Yeah.
to me, it's like a little mini San Francisco in that like
Bruh.
downtown.
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, but it's
It's
also
hella
just
beautiful.
hella more nature. The air feels more clear. Like there's less like light pollution,
More
less
nature.
hella fucking noise pollution too. Like it's just cool. You can go out there like Mill Valley. type
Dude, I
shit.
always used to hate on Marin just
Me
because,
too.
like, just because it's
Me
like,
too.
okay, if you're from Marin or whatever, you have it. It's like a different connotation of like,
Yeah.
you know, wealth
Yeah,
and
bougie.
your socioeconomics and shit,
Yeah.
and it's bougie. But low key, like, I love Marin. Like, it's
Yeah.
so nice
Like, I
over
understand
there.
why y'all
Mount
live out here.
Tam, like, oh my god,
It's
yeah.
so interesting out there. I feel like there's nowhere like that in California for sure.
No, bruh. at
It looks
all.
like fucking like it would be in Scotland or Ireland, like
Yeah,
some
dead
The
crazy
crazy
like.
yeah.
thing about Marin is like when you go like there's like the cities and stuff, and then you go to the coast side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you
that's
get
a
to,
whole
like,
different vibe.
like what is it called? The Cowgirl Creamery in that
Yes,
little area.
I never been there.
that's in Point Reyes Station.
Oh,
That
Point
one-
Reyes, yeah.
I was
Cute
just
little
there.
fucking little town. They have like a little bookstore. They
Yeah.
have like that cheese place. Like
It looks like you're in like another country
Tamales
too.
Bay.
Like,
Looks
it
like a
doesn't
movie.
look.
Tamales Bay.
Looks like a movie set.
It's so
Yeah.
ideal. Like I don't know. It's just something about it. It's just like you really and there's like no cell service out there too. It's just like
Bruh,
you
that
feel
shit was
like-
fucking me
Like,
up. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
plug, get away for a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Nah.
it's like,
Yeah,
and
fuck
that,
with that.
makes me really appreciate being
Yeah.
in the Bay Area. That you
Yeah,
can go like an
definitely.
hour in that direction and be in a completely different
Yeah.
area and like look like some. It's just it emphasizes
Yeah,
like how
the
special
landscape,
it
the
is.
Well, like-
geography, all changes.
Well, that's like
Wanna
the
hit
thing
this?
you said. It's like
I'm good.
you know
Chilling.
you go to that place, you don't get cell service. How often are you on your phone a day? Like I know
All
we
the
all
time,
we all
yeah.
have
Way
iPhones,
too
we all-
much.
We all get those
Too much.
the the notification how many hours we're averaging. a day.
I'd be
I try
ignoring
not
that
to look.
shit.
I try not to look at it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, am I on the phone that? I can't be on my phone
Yeah,
that much. Like,
yeah.
It's
is
true,
it,
bro.
Is it real? Like,
It's all those little moments that like you don't. And I'll like when you start to realize how much you're on your phone, like it's those little moments that you're like you don't even. It's just secondhand nature. Like
Yeah.
suddenly you're looking at your phone, you're like, how did I pull my phone out? Like
Yeah.
where did this come from
Like
or whatever?
autopilot.
Like it's autopilot. And I only started realizing those moments when I was like tracking. You know, like when I was like, oh man, I need to like get off my phone a little bit more, or like Instagram or whatever, like Instagram has a little like time measure too, and I'm like, damn, I'm really on here for hours. And like, yeah, if you try to cut it down, then you notice like, whoa, I just pull this shit out and my finger goes automatically there. Yeah.
Or when you get the phantom vibrates in your leg.
Yeah,
The phantoms get me.
I
The
hate
phantoms
that,
constantly get me, bro.
Dopamine.
You guys ever have like your phone dies and then like you just accidentally keep checking it and you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, bruh. Yeah, it's kind of fucked.
It's a weird behavior because I feel like it only takes like to unlearn that kind of impulse. It doesn't even take that long. If you were without your phone like completely for like 3 days, you wouldn't be thinking about it at all.
Yeah.
Like it's like your brain does switch itself fast, but the issue is like it's just like, it's so accessible all the time.
Yeah.
As creatives, I have an issue with like attention, and I have an issue with like ADHD and shit. Like staying focused on a task, but with having that, when I'm really like focused on something, I'm really into it. I'm super focused and I get shit done. For you guys have to, there's like a sensitive time where you have to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay focused and create and drown out all the shit from like your phone, from like social media to people like trying to, ask for stuff or whatnot?
Yeah.
Like how do you, all three of you guys like be able to do that without sacrificing quality?
For sure.
Shit.
Yeah.
I suffer.
You wanna go, Ad?
Let's go first.
I can go. I have to take breaks. I have to take mental breaks. Like, and also I don't know if it is something that I have to do, but I think like attention is like, it's like a muscle that you gotta kind of build up, because there's been moments when like I do fucking like when I'm hella focused on something like, and I'm doing it more often, like it feels like, oh, okay, I can last longer. You know what I mean? At this, without taking breaks. But yeah, it's like, it's low key. I feel like it's a muscle that I do have to flex, but I do need like brain breaks, bro, because it's just my mind starts to wander, and then like I gotta recalculate my thoughts. I took Addy the other day, and that shit like really just like and I was like, damn, bro, I really have a problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it is like focus is like the hardest thing to do. Like, but I have a similar thing with you. Like you were saying, like when you do somehow get involved in a project, you become like hyper focused, and then you're like, blah, blah, blah. But the issue is getting involved, like pushing yourself to that point, or getting to that point, because there's so many distractions that will stop you at the beginning of the process. And what's helped me is honestly just accountability from like people being in the room with me. Like if we're creating something together, or I have a client in here or something like that, and you have a time frame and you have like a parameter or whatever, I have to get this done in a certain amount of hours. It's like, that is like the only way I'll do it, because if I'm just like, I have free time, or if I'm by myself and I don't have any direction, then it's going to be like, I'll never start on it because there'll be so many distractions blocking me. So accountability, I feel like is like helpful if you're a creative, at least for me.
Yeah, I feel like mine's kind of different from y'all's, just because I feel like we do very different things.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same but different. I feel like I'm kind of always on, because I just like, I just have to look at things, you know what I mean? Like, and be like, oh, I kind of like this together, You just have to like arrange things. Like, I more look at stuff that like works, and then I just put it together. Sorry. I'm just saying that like I have to like, like it's a lot more abstract for me, I feel like. So it doesn't really turn off. There's times where obviously like I'm distracted, but like, I don't really have to do too much that isn't just for myself. So it's really easy for me to just keep it on all the time. And then the hard part is turning it off. Cause like, if like I'm on, like I'm on, like I don't want to do anything else. Like I'll be like, I'm not gonna talk to anybody today. Like I'm gonna do this, like, or I'm not gonna see anyone today. Like, I'll be like kind of like to myself about it and like try and figure something out. But, then like life happens, and like, that's fine. Cause like everything is kind of on my speed. Like, sure, I have like little timelines, dead frames, but like it's not really like it's not
you don't have to like jumpstart yourself really like in no, I don't think to like get yourself started on a project or something like that.
It's sometimes, but I feel like the harder part is when you're actually working with a client. Like, so like for you guys, like also like I work with like Frosty and like Jake and like stuff like that, and it's like it's hard to work with other people like that unless, like you were saying, like you're in the same room like doing it, because like you'll like talk on the phone and do stuff, and then you'll like show them something, and then they'll be like, well, what if you did this? And then I'll do exactly what they want, and they're like, no, go back. And then it's like, well,
that happens all the time. This is why I like
Yeah.
I like working with, I've discovered, like, because at first, like, being in the same room with somebody was like low key like gave me anxiety, being like, oh shit, like am I gonna be able to like work well with somebody watching over my shoulder? But that little aspect that you're just talking about, that's like why I prefer it now, because like when you have like, and this might just be a product of like the like millennial, I don't know, just like how our brain works nowadays, just being hella distracted and all this. But like when you're working with somebody remotely and you're sending stuff back and forth, like when you sit with something for so long, like your opinion on it changes so much that it's like a never ending process, versus when you're like in the room with somebody and you're like, your first reaction is usually the correct reaction, right? In my opinion, you know, there's certain things you might go back, you might tweak things here or there, but like, being able to like, when you're sending stuff back and forth, I've had that issue a lot where it's like, oh, you're gonna like just keep working on it forever and ever. So it's like you can only like give yourself a certain amount of revisions, or like, you know, or just like,
I feel like that's why it's
honest.
good though I mean, like, I don't know, you guys probably do it this all the time too. Like you have so much stuff like that you guys just keep and then you don't do anything with, bro. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And so I don't necessarily do that as much, just because I put myself in a time frame where it's like, okay, well, I have to finish this in like 3 weeks. So I'll give myself 3 weeks to be like, how do I actually feel about this? And then you just get that one moment and then it's done. You're not like, you might get like the final result and you'll be like, okay, just tweak this one thing and then that's it. But like, I'm not really, you know, I'm not gonna like sit on it too long, because then like you just start thinking differently about it. Like, oh, well, I could have done this different, and this different, and this different. And then it's
if
like,
I had all the time in the world, I can make this shit sound or hella good, or I can make this a way different. And it's like you could just make it a whole different like a whole different thing.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
Just move on. Like, exactly.
Literally, bro.
That's some shit I struggle with.
For sure.
But
I was gonna ask you too, like, so you said that you have like a different mind state when it comes to, I guess, like the creation headspace. Like, would you say that you find yourself like in a flow state like often, like in like when like ideas are just kind of coming out?
It's all like, so I mean, like, again, like what I'm saying is like, okay, so like you guys really like sit down and like arrange things, you know what I mean? Like you put it all together, like all the sounds. That's like too abstract for me to get like that. I'll just see like, okay, we're around like a blue and white wall. Like blue and white could be cool on a t-shirt. What if I did something blue? Oh, I did blue and white striped shirt. You know what I mean? Like you just look at things and you're like, oh, you know, like it's a lot more.
I mean, it is pretty similar though. If you think about it,
it could be similar.
It's just, I think like our brains work in a different way. Like where it's like I'll see something and think of it one way, and you see something and think of it a completely different way. You know what I mean?
Do you have any problem with executing? Like
all the time. What the fuck? But I feel like that's like that's like the problem. Is like why I'm like, you kind of have to be in a state of uncomfortability all the time, because it's like, you may not even like it by the time it comes out. Like for instance, like those Rebel U fucking crew necks I made. When I first made them, loved them. But then I sat on them for so long while I was making the project. And I was like, I fucking hate these now. They're disgusting. And then people like, they still like sold a lot, but now I'm like, well, I want to tweak them, and that's why, you know, we're changing them and
that's
stuff.
How I feel like after a lot of stuff I do is like, after I'm done with it, I don't ever feel like super happy that I did my best, and I feel like that struggle of like, I put a lot of work into it and whatever I do, and I don't feel like too like proud of it. I mean, you feel like a little proud, but you don't feel like it's that great. But then you get other people's reception of it, and they like really like it, and you're like, why?
I mean, that's like kind of a curse in a way. It's when you put something out, like it's hella vulnerable. Like you just like look at it and you kind of like cringe a little bit, or maybe you like obsess with it a little bit too much. Like once it's out too, or like, I don't know. That's a balance I'm trying to figure out.
I kind of like going into cringing in more about it though. You know, like I kind of like not liking it, because that way I feel like, then you're like, wait, I could do something, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you can move on from it instead of praising it, being like, this is the best. I think that holds a lot of people up too from like making doper shit. If they're like too
agree.
Into
or is it a defense mechanism where like, if you don't get good reception off it, you're like, all right, I knew it wasn't good anyways.
Yeah, that's also true.
Are you like, how would you feel if you're like, oh, this is my best work, blah blah blah, and it doesn't get no reception? How much would that crush you? You'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I put all that work into everything, and
I feel that.
I mean,
feel
does this not happen to us all the time?
Yeah,
right?
all the
Like,
time.
yeah, okay.
But it's also important to like
Okay.
kind of train yourself to go into self-reflection mode and like what went wrong, what could I have done better, instead of being like,
Yeah,
this is
I
my
think that's
product
what
that
makes
turned
it
people
good,
off.
though. You know,
what
like
I mean?
I think that's what like separates. Not saying that we're like super good or anything,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I don't know how many people y'all have met who just think they're the shit at everything, and it's like, bro, you're not even
Yeah.
halfway decent at this yet.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
That's
mean?
fucking
And it's
facts.
like that's why I kind of like being like, man, this sucks, because then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, at least I know I can still get better. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'll like, I'll be like, this was nice, but I'm never gonna
Yeah.
be like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Nah.
Blah, blah,
And the
blah,
thing
blah,
is, your
blah.
brain is like, your brain, like whether you say it's good or bad or like or not or whatever, like you're like you are a critic and you do have like a gauge of what is good. Like even if you're not saying it out
Exactly.
loud, like the way like your brain, like all of our brains work, like we are definitely like. By being a little bit critical of ourselves, like we are pushing ourselves to be like, okay, this actually is good though. Like, I'm actually going to make this, but I don't really have to like boast about it or whatever. But like, I do know what is good.
I mean,
and
yeah,
I do know when
that's
I
the whole
hit
point of just
succeed.
showing people, though.
Yeah.
You at least
That's
have to
what-
show
yeah.
them. That's the
You
problem.
gotta-
Some people hide it and be all like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 800 songs in the vault. It's like,
Okay.
you
that
dropped
don't-
one song this year,
bro.
though.
I met a
Like,
dude.
bruh.
I met a dude recently who, he said he spent like over like 10K or more on studio recordings. He hasn't dropped one song,
That's
That's absolutely
flex?
insane.
and it
that
was
supposed
like
to be a
almost
flex?
in the way he said it, I was like, I don't know how to respond because that's like terrifying to
Yeah,
me.
that's
like,
absolutely horrible.
like I don't know if that was like he was being like, he's like, yeah, I spent like 10K. I'm like, bro, like you
Yeah, you did a
drop
video
something,
yet?
please.
Yeah, for real.
You got ripped off.
You
Yeah,
need to get, make some
What are you
returns
doing?
ASAP now.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like,
yeah.
So that's like honestly motivating to not be
To
that,
not
though.
ever do that. Yeah. Literally, bro.
That's motivating.
Well,
like,
you talk about someone dropped 10K. What is the value from a studio session? What's the perceived value from it? So if someone spends that much, what value are you do as an artist? What do they should get out of that?
Quality.
Yeah, a lot of quality.
Quality.
if you're
at
spending
the
10K,
main-
I mean, what that tells me is it's like that's not some like chunk of change at one time or anything like that. It's probably over years of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
booking studio time,
Yeah.
recording hella music, maybe getting your shit mixed and mastered potentially or whatever, and then like that's probably a ton of songs. Like that's probably like hundreds.
What if
and
he's like
hundreds
one
and
of those
hundreds
people that
songs.
takes like 8 sessions to get a song, though?
True.
You know what I mean? There's
True.
those people that are like really.
I mean, low key, I did have a session with him, and he basically like he worked pretty fast. Like he like freestyled or whatever, just like did like 3 songs in one time.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this is pretty good. And he's like, I'm not gonna do anything with anything. So it's like at that point,
That's
like you're just
insane,
wasting
though.
your money. Like
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
No.
you
that's
just
pretty
learn how to record at
ridiculous.
home. Then like
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
be
exactly.
here. Like I mean, I'll
Why
take
would
your
you-
money, but still, like,
I think some
taking
people
it.
also just like to be in the studio too.
Yeah.
bro.
Well, then
Sorry,
that
go
goes,
ahead.
that goes back
Yeah, my
to
bad.
like having like not putting your work out there, because like there's a great thing, a good book called Show Your Work, and it's basically it gets you to a point that put yourself out there, put your work out there, because that's the only way you'll be able to learn and grow and get better at your stuff.
Yeah, it's
but
100%
there's a
true.
perfect example of like Greedo, like how he put all that music out there. He's gonna
Everything.
go to prison because he didn't have that much time
Yeah.
left
No,
to
yeah.
do things.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
people didn't, if they saw it that way, where they don't have that much time, because
yeah.
like honestly, like how long does like someone artist have? Like there's like a year.
I mean, it depends.
Yeah, right.
Also,
It really
For a
depends.
song or
for,
what?
well, no, for just should be like to make it in a certain genre, right?
Yeah.
It's not that long. It's like the
Yeah.
shelf life of an artist is not that long to
No,
get to that
yeah.
point, right? So
For sure.
if you're passing over that shelf life, how are you ever going to be able to know if you're going to be good or not? Because there's a certain age range that most artists
Yeah.
fall in.
yeah,
For
that's
sure.
very
I agree.
real.
You're getting close to the end of that age range,
Yeah.
and you haven't,
Well, it's also just like it could like if you're holding on to too much stuff, like you're really just doing yourself a disservice, because like even if you don't think that stuff is good, like by putting it out there, somebody might mess with it, or it's giving yourself like a a timestamp of your artistry too. Like, so then the next song you put out will be better than that, and it'll but if you're holding on from songs from 5 years ago, it's like, how are you going to put out a new song that you recorded this year now? Because then you're never going to put out anything from 5 years ago, because it's going to be like so different than it was back then. And that's something that I'm like, it's like you can't hold on to too much in the vault, because especially if you're wanting to drop shit, like
literally.
I think I got to tell that to y'all too. Y'all probably have hella shit, don't you?
We do, but right now we're working on some shit where we're gonna drop everything.
So. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, good job.
So
okay.
we're trying to take our own advice.
We're trying to, but like the thing you're saying about like the shelf life, like that's just like for humans in general. Like you know, like on some morbid shit, like it would be hella sad if one of us people pass all the time. Like you don't want to pass away and then have a whole bunch of your like art and everything just like never,
just no one sitting ever on a hard drive.
On a hard drive somewhere. Like that's like motivating just to like be like, you know, like what O3 did, like just put it out there, you know, like if you have it done at least, you know.
It's the output that matters. I was also gonna say like there's like like we were talking about La Russell and shit. His output is so like prolific, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like it's because
like 4 times a day,
bruh. He just he goes so crazy. But if you listen to some of the recordings, like they may not be the best quality. But the point is that he put that shit out. You know what I mean? And it's part of his repertoire.
Maybe he should have helped Sweetie with his market.
Oh my god, is that how we're going
to Sweetie?
That was a good segment.
Bring it back. That was a great segment.
That was a great segment.
Like La Russell, like has nowhere near, you know, the following that she has, but he has a high engagement because he's great at what he does.
And also I like almost think that his like what he does best is not music. Like I almost think that his brand, his business, like is marketing itself in a way. Like it's these reels, it's these videos, it's these performances too. Like it's like he's selling himself, like not even really selling the music. But the whole Sweetie situation, I
think like also that has to do a lot with like people liking artists because of their aesthetic or like image too, and not necessarily engaging too much with the music, you know what I mean? Like okay, like for example, you think of like My Type, right? What was the main pull in of that song, right? Is like it's that old Petey Pablo sample, you know what I mean? A lot of the time, and it's like it's hella catchy. It's like it's very formulaic. It works super well.
Or she does that with like all her music.
Icy too. It's like pulling from 2000 samples that we have already engraved.
And she can actually do that for this album too. I listened to it when you said all that, and like I think it's still a pretty good album. Not gonna lie, but like, but it's very different from what she usually does. So I'm like, oh, I kind of understand why someone like wouldn't really get with this. Also, she didn't drop anything with it. That's all.
Yeah,
like, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I
isn't
also
she from Oakland or Hayward or something?
She's from the Bay somewhere.
She's from Sac, and
I thought that she was from Sac.
She's from Sac, and she like stayed in like San Mateo or something for college.
That's interesting.
No, she was in USC.
She went to USC.
Okay.
But I think she like she's like I for some reason Hayward. I mean, we were just talking about Hayward, but I don't know.
Hayward. She's from the Stack. No, she's not.
Like Hayward.
But yeah, I feel also it's like unfortunate that like women artists have to be hypersexualized in order to like garner attention. You know what I mean? And it's like
that's very true.
And
but there's the example in the Bay. We were just talking about Kamaya before the podcast.
Yeah,
there's one of like you know you don't have.
But she's not necessarily on that mainstream tier that like.
If you're trying to break through a certain level, you probably have that pressure.
How do you say her name?
Glorilla.
Same thing. I feel like
she's really hot. Oh, she's not hypersexualized.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's like ladies anthem type.
Yeah,
you know
but also
I mean?
there's like. You know, there's kind of like a general, you know, consensus of like attractiveness that we kind of see about somebody.
I mean,
right?
she's an attractive girl.
Like you have to look good to be up there. Like, you know what I mean? And like her music is cool, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, for sure. Like you have to also like fit into the person. It's not like she's like hella out of the mold of what a female rapper would look like and present themselves.
That's very
you know
true.
what I mean? Like it's you take somebody like Missy Elliott, for example, you know what I mean? Like she's definitely an outlier when it comes to like female rap, and especially at the time what she was doing was so groundbreaking and
it was even more so at that time too. Like if you were a female rapper or something, you'd probably either have to be like like extremely fucking
Foxy Brown.
hardcore,
Yeah,
or
Foxy
Foxy, like
Brown,
Lady of
like-
Rage or some shit, or like
some of my
Lil' Kim.
favorite Bay Area
Yeah.
is the Poo-Tang. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
sick.
And
One
they're
of the-
dope as fuck.
One of my favorite like
Yeah.
live performances I've
Yeah.
ever seen. Like the
Same.
energy, like they're
Yeah.
freaking sick.
Shout
Yeah.
out
I
to
mean, the
Key.
Bay Area is just a little
Definitely.
different. Though.
Yeah, that's different. That's
the Bay Area just
different.
does it a little.
Yeah, I was
different.
thinking about like on the mainstream scale about.
But
like,
yeah, I
how-
think Sweetie
yeah.
is definitely trying to like. I mean, that's her lane is trying to maybe break into
like pretty girl rap or whatever. Like, what is her thing? Like pretty like.
Pretty Girl Rap. I don't know. She made this.
Pretty big
She called it like single. I think for this album, which I think was like even like a good idea. But the way I was like looking back on how she like marketed it, and she didn't really explain like that it was an album. She just kept like hashtagging single life, and I'm like, well, yeah, you're single, so like.
Oh,
You
because
know
of
what I mean?
Quavo. Yeah.
I also think she was probably okay. So I saw she was like in a deal with Warner, which is the same people through fucking Quavo like Migos label, because they're under the 300 thing. But so I'm like wondering like like if all that fallout happened, like maybe they were just like, why even take care of Sweetie for this like last like contractual album or whatever.
Yeah,
it
because
is,
I
you
guess
know
the
what I mean?
marketing is on the label if she signs
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
label. Like,
And there was nothing.
has
you
nothing
said-
really to do with her. It's just like
Yeah.
My girlfriend's a fan, and she was like, I didn't even know. Like I had,
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah.
know. Like
That's
I was
unfortunate.
like,
That's
oh,
awkward.
Shit. She's like, I didn't even know there was like no single like out.
Yeah.
I was like,
She didn't drop anything. She did it all the day of.
I think also a lot of people think they can just Jay-Z it now or like whatever
Yeah,
and just
just do
fucking
whatever.
and just
You're not that
drop and
prolific.
drop
We always
stuff
talk
like
about that, yeah.
just out of nowhere at midnight or do what Drake does, but it's like you have to be a very
have to be
certain
Drake.
echelon.
Yeah, exactly,
There's like two
exactly.
people in the world who can
Literally
just drop
everyone
and then have
has
it
to
be-
know who you are. You can't
Yeah.
you can't like
No.
if your mom is the only person who knows you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Yeah.
like when they dropped it, like you knew instantly. Everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Everyone
Shit.
knew. Did you
Boom.
hear? Did you hear?
Right
Yeah.
away. Everyone's like, oh,
Like
all the people
Beyonce.
on Spotify all sad because Apple Music
Yeah.
got it first. That's
Yeah.
how they
do they
brought
still
him-
do it like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Drake did his, right? He
Yeah.
did his on Apple Music first, and
I
then
think so, yeah.
the next day was Spotify.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like that's
Yeah.
how you garner attention as well. Like
No, yeah, and I feel like that messes up people's expectations too for dropping music. They're like, oh yeah, I can just do this, then I can just like no rollout,
Yeah.
no whatever, no promotion. Where
Yeah.
it's the people who are successful at an earlier stage are the people who like really
Say everything.
who they push something from like
You'll see them out on the street. Hey, you gonna be in my show next week?
yes,
Yeah, like those kind of
Crazy.
people.
Yeah.
Also the people that are just the nicest too, kind of, I feel like people think they can be like super like, man, I'm like Michael Jackson, It's like I don't have to talk
Yeah.
to anyone. It's like, bro,
yeah.
everyone's gonna think you're a dickhead. Like,
Yeah, literally,
be
bro.
nice. Like
Literally be nice.
go
Yeah.
talk to people, say what's up. It doesn't matter how many fucking followers someone has.
we're
like,
almost at that 30-minute mark, and I
Oh,
can
sh-
restart the camera.
Okay,
One
okay.
more pause.
Bam.
Pausey. So
So do
Let's get into it.
do the producers like? Do you play any role in trying to get an artist recognition? As far as like, do you help promote? Do you do like any of that stuff, the marketing?
I tried to like.
Yeah, I feel like I think you guys are all like, we're all still learning this, to be honest.
Yeah,
For sure,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think, if you are the producer of a song, like you had a hand in its creation, like you probably should promote it.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
at least
Yeah,
like
most
it's like. And I understand there is some I saw this video. It was like it was a stupid video. It was pretty whatever. Like this controversial rapper. He's like like I'm not giving this like 50-50 to producers anymore, like or whatever, like because I'm the one who's promoting, I'm paying for the video and all this shit. Like I'm gonna give them like 10%, 15% of the splits. And it's like, of course, that's just like
horrible.
a stupid ass. What like why like what no you don't deserve to take all the splits from that, but
Yeah.
at the same time I do kind of understand like where he's coming from, like because as an artist or if you're putting out your music, there's a lot of fees that come from that if for promotion and for videos and all that sorts of stuff, but
Cover
it's
art.
not necessarily like it shouldn't be like a clean cut 50-50 division of labor, especially because I think a lot of
I mean, the least you
producers
can
and
do is
engineers
post.
don't really get
Yeah.
a lot of producers and engineers don't really get the credit they deserve for all the work they do as well. So
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, I mean, like, if it's something that you really care about and you love or whatever, like you should also promote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And producer artist relationships where it's collaborative are like definitely the more important ones. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's so many times where you could just, as a producer, send out beats to people, but it's like you don't know what they're gonna do with it. They might record it with it, they might not. They might put it out and have a whole campaign behind it, but never put your name in the credits. You know what I mean? And shit like that. And it's like it's just more of a risk to like send your shit out as a producer.
I did want to take it down a controversial side.
Yeah,
I have two questions.
There
So
you go.
there's a big two-part. One part is like, what artist that's like mainstream would you say is getting carried by the producer? And then the second part of the question is, what producer right now is overrated in your opinion?
Oh, wow, this is a spicy.
Okay, hold on.
This
Wow, I like this.
What is this,
dude.
Cutty
We need more of this.
Damn. The first one was what artist is being carried by the producer?
90% for me. 90% of artists I feel are being carried by the production, bro.
I think there's a lot of artists.
90 or 100.
100?
Not 100%. But it's
not
like,
100.
bro, imagine if somebody's lyrics are so fire, but the beat is ass.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, so it's... Yeah, but then you could have a fire ass lyrics and fire ass beat and
you could
trash
just
ass
say some
lyrics, and you
shit.
could go crazy, bro.
That is pretty real sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that was like the 2017 era. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Like
sound.
still
You talking about like
nowadays, bro.
SoundCloud?
yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beats
Yeah.
were going stupid hard
the
for
fucking-
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah,
Lyrics
no,
were
I mean,
very, very bad.
a lot of rappers are for sure being carried by their producers, because you can see the songs that like really are like super lyrical, schmirical, whatever.
Yeah.
Like some of those don't really go as they're just not as entertaining to listen
They're
to,
not.
and
They're
a
not.
lot of the
They
time
never
it's
are.
like if a song makes you want to move, want to dance, and a lot of the most popular songs like do have like groove to them and shit,
Yeah.
like that is almost worth more than the lyrics. I mean, obviously you have to have like in my opinion, it's like more about melody than it is about lyrics. Like if somebody is putting something, or like like an artist is providing like an additional thing, I feel like it's usually in the melody rather than like the lyrics. I mean, for the most popular songs and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you have an example, Tajin, of
I'm just trying to think about producers that I think are overrated. Like that's really what I'm
Oh, so you guys are not going to name an artist who you think is coasting?
That was what it was.
That was the
like,
first
specifically?
question. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said what like percentage. I don't know why I thought of it like
No,
that.
no,
but
no.
like,
So what artist do you think
Could you think of an artist?
is being carried right now by the producer?
what's the most poppin' songs right now?
Everything by Drake.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's good,
Sorry.
dude. Like, I don't know, I think he's good. I also think his production is good too.
Who's
like
his
his
producer?
selection, he has
40?
several different.
40 is
yeah,
like he engineers and producers,
Boy
but like that's the
Wonder.
thing is like on those type of industry level, like if you read the liner notes,
there's hella people
like it's usually like 4 people produced the song or 5 people
Yeah.
produced the
Yeah.
song. So
and wrote it too.
and wrote it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's be like six people who wrote the
Yeah.
lyrics on the new, like Drake song or whatever, which is like. To me, I'm very confused by that. Like, I would love to see their writing process. Like,
For
hey,
real.
you should talk shit about Megan Thee Stallion on this one. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, like,
deadass. Like,
Oh
it's
my
like,
God,
say some
bruh.
shit where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't really understand how 6 people could come up with that. But as far as like
Artists.
overrated producers and artists, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I might not even know what I'm talking about. This might be too spicy, but like low-key Metro Boomin, I feel like sometimes it's a little overrated.
Yeah.
Just like based off of what I hear. I mean, like,
Southside, I think he's overrated.
yeah. Murder Beats, sorry.
Murder Beats. Oh my
Actually, not
gosh.
sorry, bro. I feel like
Nah,
he's
nah, nah,
a little because
he's mid.
his persona is also just a little bit like
I'm the shit.
I'm the
like,
shit, and
yeah,
his
like-
beats are just like I
kinda
mean, he just
whatever.
has like a specific sound that
Yeah.
works well.
They're
but
good.
in terms of versatility. It's like
Yeah.
these people. I mean, I do fuck with Metro more than Murder, but like I don't really feel like Murder Beats is like a versatile producer.
He's not
at
pushing
all.
boundaries really that
No.
much.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I feel like Migos carried Murder Beats.
Yeah, that's
Like-
true. That's
like
true.
in a sense like
Is
that.
Murder Beats still like really like making like big like hits these days though? I feel like I haven't heard him since like 2019.
Also,
maybe. Not to be rude. To
my
Murder
bad.
Beats, but-
I thought of one. anybody who raps over Zaytoven beats, Zaytoven's carrying them.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Zaytoven is, he created a whole fucking like
Didn't
wave.
he like make that whole project like with a bunch of Bay Area artists like a year or two ago?
Yeah, he did that 415.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that he carried that project. In
Zaytoven
in my
is
humble opinion,
super goated, and it definitely works with certain people who maybe aren't as good. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to look over like top songs right now, like 2022 or whatever. Like, okay, I got you. Billie Eilish by Armani White, beat carried the whole song.
So fucking what's his name? Her brother.
The Glock Talk big T-shirt Billy.
That song. Yeah,
there is a lot of
it's
TikTok
like mid
songs
as
that
fuck,
the beat.
bro. If you listen to the lyrics, it's mid. But
Yeah.
like the whole reason why is the nostalgia of the beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The beat is going crazy. Yeah, it's an old Neptunes beat. Everybody's resampling
Yeah.
Neptunes and thinking they're doing something different. Like, oh yeah, oh my god, let me put out a Neptunes type beat. This is different. Like, no, it's not fucking different. It's literally the same shit that they did in the 2000s, bro. Early 2000s.
It doesn't. I mean, that's an issue too. It's like there's like a problem with people saying they're like inspired by something when it really is just like a recreation of it. It's like if you're inspired by something, like you can tell the difference when like a beat or a song or something, even something other than music, like has the energy of that thing you're inspired by versus whether it's just like a copy of, or like, I don't
just
know,
straight up rip.
like a rip of it,
yeah.
rather than being like, oh, I can see where like this has the energy of this thing versus like, oh, you actually just did a worse version of it.
The whole thing, bar for bar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
I got one now. I got a question now. All right, who fell off? Who fell off like that was popping and like, and now they've been putting out some shit that is stupid, like mid. You know what I mean? For me, I'm gonna say it right here, and I feel sad that I have to say this, but Roddy Ricch has just gone down the shitter completely.
Unfortunately, yeah.
His last album, straight basura, bro, from top to bottom. Just nothing memorable for me personally. I'm gonna say. But
I think that's
compared
true.
to like the
When he
fucking,
came
like,
out,
yeah, bro, like that shit.
It was hella
so
genuine
groundbreaking
and
and genuine.
yeah.
But it's like it's also the relationship with the producers. Like 1500 sat down with him. 1500 or Nothing sat down with Roddy Ricch and created the whole like the Antisocial, like yeah, they sat down with him and created a concept and like fleshed out all these ideas for the album, and it turned out prolific. But now it just seems like he's rapping over shit that people just sent like on over email, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, throw it on. Okay, next one, with no cohesive.
And they might be big name producers too. And that's the thing in the industry. It's like once you get, from what it seems like, it's like you get to a certain point where it's like, okay, now you have access to everyone. Like, and the labels will like pay money or give you hella studio time or send you to like really big producers, lots of good artists, people to write your shit. But then it's like, what got you to that point is probably like a genuine relationship you had with somebody or whatever, you might have been working with like a certain engineer, like, I don't know, like Mixed by Ali and Kendrick or whatever. It's like the reason why they're so successful is because they like stuck with each other this whole time.
And they know their sound. And
rather than like once Kendrick starts popping, he's going to work with like only other people, and it's like that might change your sound, like that, it's not just, you can't just live, like usually artists have like lots of people they collaborate with, especially when they get famous. Like, I mean,
you have to make like a brand still at the end of the day with like
100%,
what you are. You can like go outside of that medium and explore, but like if you like lose the people that helped you make the brand, it's kind of like how are you ever gonna get that back?
There's not a lot of Snoop Dogg's in the world,
No,
he longevity was able to keep it, and he still makes music every once in a while.
For sure.
Yeah, bro.
He does everything.
Yeah.
He does do everything. That man is in every pocket.
You say he fell off. Is
Snoop? Oh, Roddy Ricch.
Roddy.
Stuff like that.
He can come back. He can still redeem himself.
How many people have fell off and came back?
I feel like there's a few people.
Tyga.
Yachty just kind of had a little comeback right now.
I think Meek Mill, like,
is Meek Mill popping again?
No, but I'm just saying, like, I saw a rise and a fall out of him.
Yeah,
he might be in the down right now. He might have gone a little bit of a roller coaster.
I feel like he's always up and down.
But I feel like there was definitely a moment like 5-6 years ago when it could have been like, oh, Meek Mill is never coming, like nobody fucks with Meek Mill, he's never coming back or whatever. That. But then he low-key did come back into popularity. But then it's like, So I think you can like continue the cycle, but it is rare.
I think it's like kind of impossible these days to actually go away because like you're
To
still
go
like
away,
you're like in social media. There's no unless you're like completely like deplatformed from everything.
Yeah.
I was
ever.
waiting for like Little Pump to go away, but he still pops up every once in a while.
Yeah, I still see him.
but
Yeah, I
he's
still see him.
he's in the gutter
fell
now.
off.
I think he's like trying to make an album again or something. Maybe I don't know.
No,
He's trash, bro.
No,
I mean, was
it's
he
not
ever?
happening.
Was he ever? Anything?
What is that era? What do you call that era?
The SoundCloud.
SoundCloud,
Yeah,
it's for
SoundCloud.
surely
era.
SoundCloud.
That
era.
was one of the.
I liked
worst.
some of it, but yeah,
I like some of it. I liked when it was coming out, the novelty and like the pure expression of it. It wasn't
It was
necessarily
energy.
about
It was really raw,
technicality.
yeah.
It
It
was
was
about
raw energy,
expressing
yeah.
yourself.
It's just about a
raw
lot of
energy,
screaming.
Yeah.
distortion. You know, very bare bones shit, which was cool at the time. But then when you bring that to a mainstream, like now you have more resources to give your shit quality, but you're still doing like this kind of like whatever, like just hella simple shit that is not really, you know what I mean? You're not really
Yeah.
elevating. Like
Who's the?
Yeah.
Well, I would ask who's the next up and coming that's gonna take over like out of California. I know I was at the festival when
Jay, stay true. No,
when
Be clean.
Drake the Ruler got killed, and
Uh-huh.
I was,
Yeah.
he was
shit.
supposed to be the one that would be like the next.
I mean, he kind of was that
He
guy.
was
and
already-
then-
I would say
Yeah,
he was
there.
already
Yeah.
he was already
there.
there.
It was like
I mean, it
at
could
that
be
point.
his brother. His brother's popping right
Ralphie?
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ralphie. And then what's Blue Bucks? Blue Bucks
Blue Bucks
clan.
yeah.
They're kind of going
Yeah.
crazy.
I feel like Kalen for real too is going crazy.
Kayla
Kalen, for real.
for real. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where is that movie? Is he from?
From
LA?
LA.
Okay,
LA.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's pretty.
I
Fire.
feel like I've seen him up here a lot.
yeah. There's a
Usually
big
people who are
connection.
popping in California, like if you're in LA, they slide to the Bay.
Yeah, they'll do like a little.
It's like
mini
you got to
thing
get like a
here.
cosign from certain people and like work with a lot of Bay Area artists because that's where like in my opinion a lot of the culture in like I mean LA has a super rich history, but like there's a lot of culture that is like
It's
or a lot
Bay
of
too,
energy
yeah.
that is like taken from the Bay Area too.
That's
you know,
right.
like I mean even you look at a lot of artists, even like O3, like he was coming up to the Bay all the time and
He
fucking
lived
around.
here for a cool minute.
Yeah. He was D-Lo. He was making shit with D-Lo.
Yeah,
Lots
yeah.
of people. So it's like,
D-Lo.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wait. Also, I was gonna ask really quick. Sorry. What kind of era do you think we are even in right now? Like for rap music?
that's
like,
a good. Fucking
Like on a local level or mainstream.
no, let's say
level?
mainstream. Because I think I get what we're doing right now, but I
Yeah.
don't think I get what like is
mainstream.
going on in the
I'm gonna
mainstream.
be honest with you. Like I really haven't heard any mainstream music that has for me has really been like, wow, this is groundbreaking.
Me
you know
too,
what I
yeah,
mean?
in a long
like for a
time.
while.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just gotten super formulaic and it's like it's boring to be
Well,
honest.
what
you
is the
know,
main?
like-
I feel like the mainstream can. It doesn't really come from radio anymore. It's like
Nah.
low key like TikTok. I feel like
Yeah.
is what defines mainstream
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
in my
definitely.
mind,
That's
like,
true,
TikTok
huh?
has ruined like fucking music for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I disagree, bro. To be honest,
I think it has.
I like it for some reasons and hate it
both.
for
It
some
has
reasons.
elevated and ruined music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like, bro, like think about like an artist like Pink Pantheress, bro. Like she's
Yeah,
so
yeah, pop
raw
from that.
and so fucking fire. She's one of
Yeah.
my favorite artists right now, and she's doing something that like we haven't seen here, at least in the United States. I feel like Britain and the UK is lucky
Low
taking
key the
over.
mainstream. I
the
mean, what like mainstream is
now.
like even like with drill and shit. Like there's
Yeah.
like hella like
I can only think it was that
UK
Central C
influence.
dude though.
Yeah, it's the most popular shit, and that's fire because
Yeah,
it's
it
the
was.
novelty of it. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we've been listening to the same shit over and over. Trap 150 BPM, talking about fucking your bitch, having all this money. Like
Yeah,
I
most
don't give
boring
a
shit at
fuck
this
anymore.
point,
It's
yeah.
so boring. I don't give a fuck if you fuck my bitch. A million other dudes said they fuck my
The
bitch.
same thing.
Like, come on, bro. Like, and then you think you're hella sick like that. Like, oh yeah, oh this is funny. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Nah, bro,
No, that
it's
is very real.
So
yeah, I mean, the
ass.
mainstream is really just trying to like follow these trends, which are honestly changing ever like super
Yeah.
fast now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like pinpoint what exactly like the shit that is really trash is like the stuff that you can kind of tell was created for
TikTok.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
trends.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
you
like
can-
there's a lot of sounds like
there's
that.
a lot of that.
And then,
yeah.
but sometimes I'll like hear someone listen to the whole song and I'm like, wait, you listen to this outside of TikTok?
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. And labels are like now instead of trying to find artists to like sign to make albums and stuff, they're like trying to find people to like make TikTok
virality.
sounds.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know,
Like my Spotify rap is fucking horrible. I'm embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
One of my top songs was "Come By Me." It was like a fucking song I found off of TikTok.
Yeah.
Or what
Damn.
was it?
By who?
Fucking. It was. I don't know. It was like a.
It was a TikTok song,
a TikTok-
a straight TikTok song.
Yeah, it was a fucking like a
TikTok?
pop, like a pop type of song. It was not like
Yeah.
hip hop or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like when I saw my rap, I couldn't believe it because I was like, "There's no way."
There's no way.
There's no way I'm doing that.
Someone else is
Yeah.
using your Spotify
I was
account.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
Am I
Who's
listening?
on here?
Am I really listening to that? But then I looked at like my top 5 artists, and that shit was all over the place. And I realized I was like, my music tastes are awful.
Who are your
Yeah.
guys' top
But is
fives?
it
Let's
like-
talk about that really fast.
Dude, like that was funny. Yeah, I saw my top 5 and I was like, honestly, just super shocked. Like,
What on
On
what platform?
Spotify.
oh,
Or-
I don't have
guess.
Spotify. I don't have.
This
Yeah.
was Come With Me. That was the song. It was just like a chill,
By
like
who?
I've never even.
Why do you say that that's horrible though? Like, if you like it, then it must
Because
be good.
Yeah, it still could be a good song.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, because I haven't listened to that song forever, and I was like, did I listen to that song so
You must have
much?
listened to it a lot.
I was
Yeah.
A lot.
well,
You're
it
just
was
down.
like going
Put it
through
on
my
repeat.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do that like 1 or 2 times and you end up in the top 5.
I straight up, yeah.
What was your? Did you have a Spotify rap?
I don't have a Spotify. I just do Apple
Apple.
Music.
Apple
So
Music.
They still have
Yeah.
like the
Music
top
people.
5 musics you listen
guys-
to or
Yeah.
whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it
on
right
YouTube,
now.
I have YouTube.
Oh, you
Premium.
check it on YouTube too. I
So-
think I listen to Du Bois so much on YouTube.
yeah,
Damn, yeah.
The boy, yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
But,
Shout out
did you-
Beats by
who's your
Seb.
top 5?
Facts.
It was J Will was number 1,
Nice.
which was
Yeah,
and then I had Frosty as number 2.
I love that.
3
yeah.
was
sick.
Rex Life Rise.
Wow.
And
Hey,
then
that was probably in my top 5 for sure.
bro, I love
If
Rex Life
if I
Rise. He's
had
one of my
it.
favorite rappers ever.
Yeah.
And then Pussy, he's from
See
Oakland.
Apex.
Yeah,
Pussy
yeah.
Apex.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever worked with him, bro? You guys need
No,
to
I
know.
want
He goes
to.
crazy. I'm gonna try to tap him with y'all. And then number 5 was La Russell. So I had like
Wow,
such a
nice.
Bay Area
Yeah.
split top
Hey,
5.
that's I fuck with that.
I was in Larry June's top 0.5%.
Hey,
Yeah, that's lit.
there we go. I would say I probably listened to him
His
a lot
His
this
last
year.
Yeah, me
album
too.
was
A lot.
fucking sick. Like,
Yeah.
I really liked it. So
He
much.
also just has so much music to listen to.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I'm
he
like, I
is-
feel like he drops like 8 albums a year.
yeah, and each album has like 15 songs on there or some shit.
Wait, what is your top?
Bruh, super random. So like the first 3 artists are like these Cuban artists that I listen to,
Ooh.
like Wilde, Wow Poppy, and El Camel. I was in his top 1%, bruh. Of
Damn,
this fool.
son.
But and then I have Burna Boy and K Tronada. Like
Oh yeah, Burna
that's
Boy,
just
K
literally
Tronada.
like I'm always slapping that shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
I mean going
influences.
back to what is the mainstream sound now, like I think you can't really like what we were saying with like how it's TikTok, it's like you can't really pinpoint it because like whatever is the mainstream sound is like a little bit like it's like the industry is trying to like catch up, so it's like a little bit late, like
Yeah.
and it's changing all the time. But like I could argue like drum and bass right now or whatever is
Yeah.
like it's kind of mainstream,
Garage.
like yeah, like
Interesting.
that song that's like on and on and on
All
and
that
on.
shit.
I always like
Yeah.
hear shit on my Instagram that
Yeah.
like pops up.
Interesting.
Definitely going crazy.
No, those songs get really popular, especially when they're recycled with the same, like people are trying to make the same type of edit,
sure,
right?
yeah.
And you
Yeah,
guys talked
yeah.
about how people use the same type of like samples all the time,
Mhm.
over and over again. So when I
Yeah.
had said earlier that it ruined music for me because every time I'm hearing that song, it reminds me of the fucking bad videos that I've seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what turns me off.
Yeah.
From it. And it's like, oh, I
It's
think
like an
I hear,
association now.
yeah, I
Yeah.
associate
Yeah.
with that, but also I think the song's great, and then I actually listen to
Yeah.
the entire song, and I'm like, oh, this song fucking sucks, and it makes
Yeah.
you have like a
That hurts. Yeah.
the
yeah,
short form
definitely.
content right
Yeah.
now is ruling all of social
Yeah.
media,
Yeah.
and that has made me dislike a lot of things because
For sure.
I'm more of a long form
Yeah.
thing, but
Yeah,
short
yeah, yeah.
term sucks me in so much,
Yeah.
and I'll be like
Yeah.
scrolling forever,
The doom scroll.
and I'm like, it's got me worse
Yeah.
than I used to be.
Yeah.
Before I
Yeah.
used to be,
Yeah.
be on it, but now I feel like I'm stuck
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
So if you're producing something, are you going towards that like short form snippet where people get hooked onto it and then it'll lead to them listening to your longer form like stuff like that, or is that a thing?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that is definitely what the trend is. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people are trying to go for that like whatever little like moment in a song or something like that. And I think Drake low-key started that. Like
He's the most quotable rapper, definitely.
for sure. Like even
Literally.
like
Quotables,
I
yeah,
remember when like
quotables.
Hotline Bling came out and I was like it felt like a song that I'd seen before or some shit. Like I had super deja vu with that song, but it was like all the little meme viral moments, all the little parts of it. But like, yeah, I think it's important to kind of push back and just like break out of any type of formula. Whether your formula is I make a 3-minute long song every single time, or I make a 1-minute long song every single time. It's like just kind of like treat it differently, and also just like go where like the art takes you, you know, like if it definitely needs to be a longer song, it needs to be a longer song, you know. Like,
so for with everything being short form content now, have you noticed you're making songs less than 3 minutes? Are you making them shorter overall?
For sure.
I feel like
are people still pushing past a certain limit? Is there like a sweet spot for how long a song should be?
Like 2. I would say like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
sweet spot.
And that's like pretty short if you think about it.
Really
from back in the day, it's like people used to have like
3,
fucking
4,
10 minutes.
Yeah,
songs.
6, 8.
But the issue is also streaming too, and I just heard this recently that like you only get you get a stream if somebody listens to like 1 minute of your song or something like that.
Wow.
That you don't get a stream if somebody listens to like less than that, but you also don't get like 2 streams if somebody listens to more of that. So like people are trying to like make 1 minute long songs so they can put out an album of like that's 10 minutes long, and then it's like that counts as 10 streams or whatever, versus like somebody listening to one 10-minute long song. It's like so it's like the money is kind of dictating that in a way, which kind of sucks.
Yeah,
because it's like
from the art.
I mean, it doesn't feel very genuine.
Yeah, and also like albums aren't necessarily conceptual anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all like kind of like how it's like streaming fodder. Like how much can you get? How much can you fit in? Like 17-track albums, like and shit like that. It's like,
I feel like it used to be really like. I mean, not saying that it's not anymore, but like it used to be like really conceptual. Like it'd be like people kind of like fighting back and forth in hip hop, you know, people throw little jabs at each other here and there, like blah blah blah. And like now it's like everyone's just like, well, I don't care about that. I need to go viral for like the quick minutes that like people notice what's going on.
Well, if they're doing things, they're not doing it during songs. They're doing it during lives. They're doing
exactly.
They're like
that's real.
doing it where
That's so true.
Perception, like it's not on the music anymore. They're like battling like in real life, like real time, and it's like
it's crazy. It is some soap opera type shit.
It is, bro.
days,
All that
definitely.
shit.
it's what sells though.
Yeah,
It's dumb, bro.
The lives. That's so true.
Are you familiar with the Mars Volta? Anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to go watch him I forgot the fucking venue, but I went to go watch them. Like my girlfriend's like favorite band. And I know them somewhat. There's some songs that I'm familiar with, but a lot of them I'm not. Their songs were like 6-7 minutes long.
Yeah.
They're like the longest solo ever, where everyone had like two like a long time each.
Yeah.
And like it was kind of hard for me to watch
to get into
because I'm so used to everything being quick.
Yeah.
And it was like these songs were going on forever, but you were like in a trance. It was
It
was super sick. What's the venue
like,
on Market?
The Warfield.
Warfield. So we're in the bottom. And it was like the sound. It was like captivating. I was like in a moment.
The Warfield does that to you,
dude. I love that for you.
It felt so surreal, and I was like, I love live music.
Yeah.
I might not know who the people are, but I'll
Yeah.
enjoy it. And
That's inspiring sometimes.
I fucking enjoyed it. I was
there's some shit you don't get from watching your phone, watching a 30-second clip. That's like what the Grateful Dead used to be doing back in the day. Like, that's why their concerts were going off, because people were going and like literally like tripping out, and their songs would be like 30 minutes long, and they're just like in this moment of time.
You guys ever met any deadheads?
What is it?
Yeah.
My dad.
I worked with
my father.
I worked with a psychologist, and he was a straight deadhead. And I've been to the Ashkenazi
in Berkeley. Yes, sir.
I see motherfuckers spinning, and I'm like,
shit.
Not wearing no shoes.
It's different out there.
It's a lifestyle.
It's different. It's different.
Some of a very close friend who used to be a spinner. It was not a good time.
Spinner.
The dancing is tragic, I will say.
It's tragic. I mean, their lives sometimes are a little tragic too. They just follow them around everywhere.
That form of music doesn't translate to all other types of genres.
Nah.
It barely even translates to their albums. Their albums were not hitting.
Crazy, yeah. So like,
my mom has a funny story. Sorry to interrupt you. She's because she moved here from the Midwest, and so she met my dad, and he's like born and raised here, and he's like, he was a big Deadhead back in the day, and like she just like didn't get it. She's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is trash. This music sucks. Like, whatever. And so they went to a concert, and they like, I think she like he smoked some weed or something, and she's like, oh, okay, now I understand like why people like this. Because when you're here, it's a vibe. Like you're saying at the Mars Volta, like you might not have listened to their music or know their song, but like when you're there and it's live, it's like you're almost like in a trance, or you're like caught in a spell or something. And that's like one thing live music only does. Like it only like that's like, or like other forms of media like cannot like give you that trance type of feeling.
You can feel it. You can feel the sound wave. You can feel like, you know, like
the good times,
everything,
the good vibes.
Yeah.
This is like everyone's the energy, like real energy when people are giving up. So
and everyone's fucked up. Everyone's stoned.
So do you guys want to wrap it up, or you guys want to keep going?
I mean, I'm down to keep going. I'm down to get into some spicier shit.
We just have to just have to check.
Nasty told us she was getting.
I mean, I should probably get going soon.
You gotta head out.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Kid Reek he's about to be here.
Oh,
Riki.
Okay.
Or he said,
should we wrap it up?
Yeah, we might as well.
All right,
we have to.
I'm sorry.
Thank you guys.
We can do a part 2 sometime soon.
I'm down.
Tajin, it was fun. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
guys for letting us have this space. You know.
Yeah, seriously.
this shit was super dope.
Thank you.
Great
Wait, where can we find you guys?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, you can find us at 2easy_productions. 2easy.
Yeah.
_productions. You can book time through us. We do production, we do engineering, we do mixing and mastering. And
custom beats.
We also dabble in songwriting if you're interested. And you can find me individually at Tajin415, TAJIN415.
And then my Instagram is okcam, OK_CAM_, that last underscore. It's gonna disappear soon. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram out there who has the name. I'm about to message them, offer some money because I can't be having too many underscores. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's the spot.
Gang.
Spot.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll end it now.
Get to trippin', nigga, bitch, hug me. If you can't find me, look, just know where to bust me. Had these bitches off the ground, broke and they dusty. Too easy saying I'm a star, bitch, I'ma let the bitch choke. She don't know what she lose. Real piggy by my pussy, I'm the type to refuse. And you know she like a rough, I'ma go and abuse. I might fuck on a fan, now we fucking on my music. And I love to be around her, ain't afraid of throwing back. Come and sit on the road, nigga, laugh. When a bitch hold it down, she get more than a ride. Tell me when you learn I'm moving like that. Popped out, got the bitches going crazy. Hit the DMs when I'm drunk or I'm lazy. Ain't the type of nigga let a broke bitch pay me. She mad I keep it real cause she used to forget. And I hate it when these bitches talk this shit that they won't do. Freaky in the DMs when she too scared to come back and pull up, pop out, give her best a thumb through.